Right, am I live? I am indeed. Right. Just doing some start of stream checks and then I'll get into it. Okey-doke. Excellent. One more thing to check before I properly start. There we go. Right. So guys, here we are. If you don't know me, my name's Stephen. I am a writer. I'm British, and I'm doing NaNoWriMo this year. I've done it a few times before, so I'm just kind of getting back into it. Just a couple of housekeeping things. My work is generally considered young adult. It's very teen based. This particular project is like a fantasy teen thing. Generally, my characters go through some rough things, so if things trigger you, then you might encounter some difficulty if you start reading the stuff. But just I'll let you know if we're getting into a rough area. The other thing is I am streaming across several different platforms. I have like a compiled chat open, so I'll be checking that periodically. If I answer a question that you don't see, it's probably going to be to do with the fact that I have that I've got a question on another platform, and that's probably what I'm answering. I will read out the questions before I answer them. I'm also going to try and what was I doing? I'm going to try and see about saving these videos, because if I can save them, right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start recording now. So now I'm recording as well as streaming, just so that when I decide to finish the stream, it'll all be available, probably on YouTube. I think it's probably the best idea. But yeah, so I'm available on YouTube, I'm available on Twitch, and I'm available on Picarto. So depending on your preference of platform, I'm available across all three. Picarto, I decided it was quite handy because it actually has a creative writing area, but obviously Twitch and YouTube have wider platforms, so I was hoping it would kind of catch a few people. As for the music I'm playing was the other thing I wanted to mention. The music I'm playing was not chosen by me, just to point out, although some of it is actually quite good. It is just literally a royalty-free kind of playlist that I found, just because I don't want to be sued for copyright infringement of music. Otherwise, I would be playing some different songs, but I don't have a license to play those. So, and obviously, while you may argue that certain Twitch streamers and stuff play music, it is kind of a bit of a it's kind of a rough area, because it's like, while it is possible, if you get caught, you can get seriously screwed. So, I would rather start from a good place than not. So, this is obviously my Nano Prep stream. Please, speak to me and let me know if you have any comments, questions. Obviously, I'm trying to kind of put everything across to you, but I know that at the moment, not many people are watching. So if you join in partway through the stream, which you probably wouldn't have heard this, but if you join in partway through the stream and have any questions about what I've already said, feel free to give me a shout. And that applies to any of my streams in the future as well, because I will be streaming on a regular basis throughout November. My plan is to do a kind of a kickoff party, or like at midnight my time, on the 1st of November, like midnight between the 31st and the 1st of November, 31st of October, 1st of November, sorry, and then I'll be doing a kind of thank God it's over party at the end. Probably not on midnight, probably a little bit earlier, but we'll see. And then before then, I will be doing kind of probably weekly streams, and then I will also stream probably at whatever points during the week when I have time, just as little added extras, if I get people curious. Every time I stream, there will be a little kind of alert coming up on my Facebook page and on Twitter. So feel free to follow those if you want to know when I'm streaming. My Twitter is @sjlit, and my Facebook is sjoliver. So feel free to add those. Now, so getting actually into the meat of it. Be aware that obviously, if you can see the title of my, I don't know if you can see the title of my thing. No, you can't. Well, essentially, I have a very temporary title at the moment on my project, because of the fact that I literally have no idea what the title's going to be at the moment. Normally, I'm quite good at titles, but I don't know what to do with this one. But essentially, I'm going to make some notes about what I'm doing as I'm talking, but I'm working on a project I've already started, which is actually a sequel to a previous project, which means that a lot of my kind of background is already there for me. If you haven't actually seen my work already, the kind of lead up to this book, the existing book, is actually available for free to read on a website called Inkit. And again, if you look at my Facebook page and my Twitter, there's links to that there. I will happily post those links again. If you message me on Facebook, like if you message the page, I can send you it if you can't find it. That's more like, I'm more than happy to do that. A good handful of my books are available free on Inkit. Some of them, like, there's a couple that are actually published through Amazon, and if you want to read those, like, some of them overlap. Some of them are for free on Inkit, and some of them are available on Amazon to buy. In fact, most of them are. So just feel free to kind of pick out one and yeah, give it a look. If you don't want to buy it, go and ink it, and it's there as well. The only one that isn't is actually the first of the Amnesia series, which I wrote. So if you want to read that, that is available on Amazon, but it is much cheaper than the rest of my books. It's about half the price, in fact. So, they're all available as ebooks, by the way, as well, paperbacks and ebooks, like worldwide. So, but if you're not familiar with the first one that I wrote, which some of you probably won't be because of the fact that it is only on Inkit at the moment. This is a sequel to a book called Orion. It's set in a kind of parallel world where magic exists. I don't want to give away too much about the previous book, but essentially, without giving everything away, Orion, which is the title character, was essentially was changed into a vampire during the first book. That kind of yeah, so essentially Orion, the main character, was kind of attacked and changed into a vampire during the course of the first book, which meant it was stuck in the parallel world forever because of the fact that essentially in this book vampires are magical beings. They're kept alive through kind of a magical parasite, or more like a symbiote, I guess. Essentially, the kind of symbiote feeds off of blood, and in turn it produces this kind of chemical concoction that that stops the aging process, and keeps them alive, essentially forever. So because of the fact that it is a magical virus, it means that there is literally no way that he can go home, because if he goes home, he will literally just cease to exist because of the fact that magic doesn't exist on Earth. In that form. The background is that essentially Earth used to have magic, but it was kind of drained away through misuse and overuse. And so this kind of parallel world has kind of restricted the use of magic to only a kind of select kind of council, I guess. Essentially, the rulers of the world are all people who are magic users, but they kind of refuse to use it for any more than like they have to. It's a very kind of complex system, and it could be seen as a little bit dubious, which is something that I am tempted to bring up in this book, because it's a very kind of elite group that kind of run the entire world, and it's kind of it's not great. But yeah, so that's from there. There are also werewolves in this book, if you were curious about that. I haven't fully explained those yet, but I will do. The thing about this parallel world is that there are what I mentioned in the previous book was that there are what appears to be 3 moons, but actually one of them is a kind of climate control device, and the other one, I actually can't remember what the other one was, but I'll follow that up at some point. I think it was, I can't remember. It was something specific, but I can't remember what it was. So no one's in the chat or anything, so that's fine. I'm trying not to do too much too quickly as well, because I've actually planned this stream for to be running across about 3 hours. And I know people who kind of were going to join who haven't been able to yet, who are going to join, maybe might join later on. So I'm trying not to be too speedy. So yeah, beyond that, what else we got? Right. If any of you are curious, because I've actually, one thing I wanted to mention was that I've made a few changes to my social media and my social media and my books and stuff recently. You'll notice that I've actually kind of rolled out a name change across my social media and across my books. As they become re-available on Amazon, my ebooks and my paperback books have shiny new covers, and they're all attributed to a new name. My social media has all got a new name. This is due to a name change I'm actually going through in real life. So that's always cool. I also have a brand shiny new Instagram account for my authorial needs. So feel free to follow that. That is SJ Oliver, with underscores in between. So yeah, so big changes were made. Most of them yesterday, in fact. I think 3 of my books on Amazon have become re-available, with the 4th one just waiting. But those are just the ebooks. Only one of them in paperback has come back. So yeah. So that's the thing that's happened. I will keep people updated as that goes on. So I am hoping that they all arrive soon. They say 72 hours, so yeah, you're looking at another maybe 40 hours at the most. But yeah, Amnesia is currently available on ebook and paperback. Double or Nothing is available as an ebook, and Echoes of Summer is available as an ebook. Forbidden Memories is still waiting on both at the moment, which is kind of a bit of a pain, but it's okay. The older editions have all been took off, mainly due to the fact that they were no longer fit for purpose. I've made some big changes. Oh crap! I've just noticed something wrong, so I need to. Yeah, there was an issue with one of them, so I've had to take Echoes of Summer off due to some issues with that. So I'll sort that out shortly. But I won't do that on my stream. I'll do that later. So yeah, Kindle Echoes of Summer is now no longer available on Kindle. I've just took it off due to a issue that I hadn't realised when I was doing it yesterday, because I was just really tired by that point. It was the last one I did. So yeah, so that will have to be something that is changed later. So yeah, so now it's just Amnesia and Double or Nothing, but that's fine. So, back to NaNoPrep. What I really like to do with NaNoPrep is try and get a group together. I'm currently, due to being in the kind of northeast of England, I am currently in the Darlington and Tees kind of regional group in Nano. They actually have a Facebook group and they have write-ins every so often, which is really handy. I like meeting up with other people to write. The other thing that I really like to do for NaNoWriMo is I like to find someone who has someone who can write a little bit quicker than me. And then I endeavour to beat them in word sprints. So essentially, a word sprint is basically you just kind of write for kind of a set amount of time, and try and get as many words as you can. So essentially, like my last couple of nanos, what I've done is I've met with a group of people who all said, right, we'll write for 10-15 minutes. Usually 15. 15's a really good little block of time to set out for just pure writing. Any kind of bigger than that and it gets a bit pointless. 5 minutes and you're not going to get much down. You're going to be thinking more than anything else. But kind of, after 15 minutes, it's a bit arduous. So we generally do 10-15 minute blocks. And there was this one person who could write, excuse me, just a little bit quicker than me. They actually, we were actually the two fastest in the group, but they beat me quite a lot. So I used to really try my hardest to beat them. It was kind of like a race, I guess. And it gave me a little bit of competitive edge. Made me write more. So I was writing over 1,000 words every 15 minutes. 1,000 words would have been the minimum. Sometimes as much as 1,200. Words in 15 minutes. It was really, it kind of pushed me to write faster. The other thing I like to do is, what were they called? There was basically a thing where it would link up to a story or a essentially you would have a list of tasks in almost in a storyline. So I know there used to be kind of Harry Potter ones and stuff like that. I can't think what they were called. Word crawls, that was it. Word crawls. Essentially a set of tasks relating to one topic, usually kind of set out as a storyline. And essentially you would follow them, and they would usually start out fairly easy and get more difficult as time went on. So essentially what would happen is, so here's an example for you. Howl's Moving Castle word crawl. Because Howl's Moving Castle is amazing. So it's a particularly long one, apparently. Yeah, it is quite long. So I'll just give you kind of some brief, a brief rundown. So this is actually of the book, apparently. So you base so basically you get to choose to be a member of so it says, in the land of Ingary, where such things as 7 league boots and cloaks of invisibility really exist, it absolutely sucks to be the eldest of 3. Based on your writing speed, pick the birth order you line up. So youngest is like a slower writing speed, middle is a medium writing speed, and eldest is the fastest writing speed. Your stepmother decides the only way to keep the family millinery open is to send you and your sisters off to apprentice somewhere profitable. You get stuck in the hat shop. So this is related to the Sophie. In House Moving Castle. So even though they're not satisfied with they're not satisfied with their assignments, your sisters at least get to leave the house. Sprint for 10 minutes because your life surely isn't going anywhere. So that's the first thing you do is sprint for 10 minutes. Get as many words as you can. If you reach the word count below, you overhear about the mysterious wizard Howl and how he kidnaps beautiful girls with their hearts, and that will never hold significance for you. If you don't reach it, sprint for 7 minutes while your stepmother teaches you how to sell a hat to a customer. So, depending on what you choose, depends on how many words you should have, you were aiming for in that sprint. So if you chose to be the younger sibling, then you would need to have gotten 375 words. If you chose to be the middle sibling, you would get 685 words, and the eldest you would 950 words. Bear in mind, this is all in 10 minutes. So here we go. Making hats is boring. You talk to them as if they were people because you're going to step outside. And then you choose an option of 3 things. So if you choose the hat that was all if you chose the hat that was all veiling with hidden twinkles, you have mysteriously will write 550 words. If you chose the creamy hat with roses under the brim, you have to marry into money, write 700 words. If you chose the mushroom pleated bonnet, you have a heart of gold and someone in a high position will fall in love with you, write 1,000 words. And then it says, you're a little depressed that none of them will on you. On May Day, you decide to see your sister Letty. You're sent to apprentice at a local bakery. You're scared stiff, you're a pretentious blonde, and you dash into the crowded bakery. Right to the next multiple of 300 while you push your way to the front counter. So, this is a different... So far we've had sprinting for 10 minutes and writing as many words as you can. We've had writing a set amount of words. With an option of 3, and this one is writing to a goal. So sometimes you get right to the next multiple of 1,000, right to the next multiple of 300, right to the next multiple of 100. These are all different things you can do just to get that word count up a little bit. Sometimes it can be only a handful of words because of the fact that you're already nearly there. Other times it can be quite a lot. So this could be anything from 1 to 999 words. 1 to 299 words even. Then we've got another sprint after that, 15 minutes. Then if you reach the word count, you take Martha's advice and stand up for yourself when you get home. If you fail, you stumble around your words in a pathetic way. Type for 5 minutes with your eyes closed. That's one I've never seen before on a sprint. The next bit is a glamorous woman walks into your shop. Her tastes are too highfalutin for your shop. You're tacky and she hates you. If you are the youngest or middle child, you try to sell her the mushroom hat. Allow your writing to suck for a solid 25 minutes. That, again, is one I've never seen before. It is essentially just kind of turn off your inner editor, just write for 25 minutes and just, yeah. If you're the eldest, you sass her despite her henchman's nervous, gesturing behind her back. You screwed up. Write 2,500 words in 30 minutes. So then after that, there's another kind of section, and it says write for a leisurely 35 minutes. And then it says again, if you reach the word count, this happens. If you don't, write 300 words while you wander about. So if you're the youngest, it'd be 750, the middle 999, and the eldest 30 and 100. That's in 35 minutes, so that's plenty of time to get those. Then the next thing is do a 3-digit challenge. So I'm going to quickly look those up because I forgot what those are. So a 3-digit challenge is... Okay, so the 3-digit challenge is basically there's a thread in the NaNoWriMo forums where essentially the last 3 digits of your word count are the 3 digits that the next person has to do. So you write the... So you log on to the forum, you'll open the thread, you'll take the person before you. So in an example, the last person to put anything down left. Let's have a look. So the last person on this left 698. So you would leave the last 3 digits of your word count, which for me is in total 502. And I would leave 502 for someone else, and I would take the 698 to write for myself. And then, so that's a 3-digit challenge. So you leave the last 3 digits of your own word count and take the digits someone else has left as a challenge to write. Fairly straightforward, fairly easy little challenge because there's no time limit or anything like that. So that's always fun. More crawls exist. That was held in the castle. There is now there's a Greek mythology one, which has several challenges. In fact, it has 12 challenges. It has the so we've got the labours of Heracles. The labours of Heracles were obviously the 12 labours that. Okay, so you've got the labours of Heracles, which are 12 challenges. For that lot, you've got an Iliad challenge, an Odyssey challenge, and a Hades and Persephone challenge. So in the Heracles labours of Heracles, you've got you can defeat the Nemean lion, which cannot be injured by any weapon. You need stamina, right for 20 minutes without stopping. To slay the Hydra, you'll have to complete a 50-headed Hydra challenge, which I'll get into in a little bit. To capture the Golden Deer, Sacred to Artemis, you'll need to be fast, write 600 words in 15 minutes. To capture the Erymanthian Boar, you need a sturdy trap, write 750 words to build a sturdy trap. To clean the Augean stables in a single day, flood them by writing 500 words as quickly as you can. Scare away the Stymphalian birds by writing a scene in which someone or something makes a loud noise. Rush the Cretan Buttons ground by writing 400 words in 10 minutes or less. Steal away the Mesopotamides with a 30-minute sprint. To impress crew in the Amazons and giving you a girdle, write a scene which develops one of your female characters. To defeat the 3-headed giant Geryon, write 333 words in 10 minutes or less. To convince Atlas to help you steal the apples of Hesperides. Complete a 15-minute sprint. If you manage more than 500 words, you succeed. And then descend into the other world to capture the 3-headed Cerberus by writing 15 minutes with your eyes closed. So that's the labours of Heracles. Again, there's 4 challenges, but I'm not going to get into them all. I think we've kind of done crawls for now. Like some of them are a storyline, some of them are just a list. You find that generally there are word wars. Word wars and word sprints are very similar. 50-headed Hydra. So 50-headed Hydra is something that is actually a very difficult challenge. People really struggle with this. Essentially, it's trying to write 500 words in 5 minutes. Essentially, it's it's kind of virtually impossible. Basically, it comes from the fact that it was an intern who did a 5-minute sprint. They managed 500 words, but the only words spelled correctly were 50-headed Hydra. Or that's supposed to be where it comes from. It is essentially, in truth, it is 5 minutes of panic writing. Write as many words as you can. Don't stop for anything. Don't backspace. Don't edit. It's literally just 5 minutes of just writing and writing and writing and writing, and then go afterwards to try and finish that. So these are some of the challenges you find in NaNoWriMo. Obviously, you get writing prompts. So those are kind of words or phrases, or sometimes full sentences, to kind of inspire or include in your writing. Just having a look. Loads of crawls in here. There was another one someone mentioned to me, which was a... There was something someone mentioned to me, which was a extreme 5-hour writing marathon, but I'm trying to remember where it possibly was. I can't think where it would be. Here we go, the extreme 5-hour word marathon. So I'm guessing this is just writing 5 hours. So it's a challenge that essentially it's it says here that it's a challenge. It's so difficult that even failing it can put a huge bump in your word count graph. And apparently the people who did it last year, 77.6% of them went on to complete to win NaNoWriMo. So that's like 2/3. Might have fallen behind, want to get ahead, or just done such challenges. So it's like a word sprint, but the objective is to write as many words as you can in 5 hours. It's a marathon. You've got to pace yourself and take a couple of breaks. And then, yeah, you just kind of put in how many words you wrote, and they put you in the first topic. They call it the Hall of Legends, which was fun. So that's just kind of writing non-stop for 5 hours. I might actually do that, and I might stream it at some point. I don't know yet. I will kind of keep you updated on that. So, what did that say as well? If you're unfamiliar, there are Discord servers. So these are kind of groups of people who want to help each other and whatever. Discord servers, Facebook groups, and so on. Really good to get into because I've found if I try and do it on my own, I generally don't do as well as when I work with other people. It's much better to work with other people than to be working on your own. Just trying to figure some stuff out at the moment. Yeah, so so yeah, so this is all kind of the thing with doing a kind of a nano prep at the moment for me is the fact that I've already started this. I've got a lot of background already kind of created, so I can't really, I mean, I could write more on kind of the background and the characters and everything else, but there's kind of very little point for me to do that right now, because again, like the settings already kind of fleshed out in the previous book, the characters are already fleshed out, or most of them are in the previous book, so there's kind of very little point in making prepping those again. So I'm kind of focusing on kind of the admin-y, the more kind of actions among NaNoWriMo. Finding my people, planning to go to write-ins, do streams, you know, what challenges I can get into, what word crawls there are, what's available on the forums for me to look at, and so on. So, yeah. Yeah, the forums are really active. They're a really good way to meet people. I've kind of interacted with people on there plenty of times. It's kind of great. So, alright, so, what else can I say? I'm trying to think what else I can kind of put forward. It's quite difficult because, obviously, like I said, I've planned the stream for 3 hours, but with no one actually watching or interacting, it's quite difficult to kind of guess what people would want to know. I will be utilizing Discord groups, by the way. this Nano. I do my regional group does have a Discord channel, and I will be using that. They also have a Facebook group, so I'll be utilizing that, and so on. I will. If you're doing Nano yourself, you can always feel free to message me, see if I'm up for some sprints or whatever. I do keep kind of strange times, so time zone's not really an issue. So just be aware that if I'm awake and available, then sure. But I do have university and stuff like that, so I may not always be available all the time. Yeah. Here to make it clear to everyone that I will happily